Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Well, we've got 3 minutes. Ooh, I didn't realize I would be this nervous. This is something new. We- Where does the nervousness come from? No. Why? I'll definitely have to edit that out. All right, we got 2 more minutes. That's just a little dark still. Maybe like that. Ah, okay, that might be a little better. Mm. Mm. I don't know why the rest of them doesn't work. But well, how about that? We can. Okay, I think that's good. Nice, cozy atmosphere. I think we're good. I guess I can be seen, but no one sees me. I hate to get all up in the screen like that, but it's the only way that I can see. All right, it's 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope all you guys that I invited will start streaming in, maybe. Um, my name is Myra. Um, for purposes of my business, I'm Emmy, Myra Elaine, so Emmy. And the name of my business is Beautiful Calm LLC. It's an aromatherapy bath and body products company. I created them out of a need for something to relieve pain and other symptoms other than taking a bunch of pain pills that were making me sleep on the job. I had a full-time job at the time that I was diagnosed and wasn't doing very well at it. I was sleeping on the job and other things. So I started researching and looking into essential oils, herbs, other plant-based ingredients, and I found that I could make a combination that worked for me. I did oils that I was able to combine, put them together, and they ease some of the arthritic pain in my hands. Along with having arthritic pains, I also have fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed with that about 4 years after the diagnosis of the rheumatoid arthritis. So here we are. I unable to work my full-time job anymore, and what am I going to do? paycheck's been cut. More than half. It's been cut by 2/3. I need the money. I was doing my bath and products kind of, after I was diagnosed. I got some of them straight. I sold a few, but I still need more than that 20, 30, $40 that I was getting from my coworkers and friends. All right, get store. Can't afford the bills, then let's do online. I started doing that and I officially became an LLC um, September of 2001. So I just made my 3-year mark. And when I started my business, we were in COVID, like right after that. Before COVID, I did quite well. During COVID, not so much. After COVID, still not so much. And just about a year or so, it started taking off and getting kind of steady orders. And might miss a month or so, but I get steady orders, and I'm still struggling. Like I had mentioned before, the past 2 months, I haven't really gotten any orders. So, to speak of, I got one earlier this month. That's it for the whole month of October, and it's almost gone. So, and I spend time on Threads is the new thing. So I spend time on there making friends and meeting other women business owners. And the majority of us are in the same boat. We're struggling, trying to make it, trying to keep going. So it's difficult. And that is the reason why I switched up what I was originally going to talk about in my first podcast. I was going to talk about essential oils and how you can use them and kind of do an introduction into like that. We'll do some of those things later on, but right now I thought it's much more important to talk about business, talk business. How's your business doing? Are you making any sales? You making any progress? What's going on with you? When somebody asks you that, how do you feel? Do you, oh, it's great, it's so great? Or are you hesitant to answer because you're kind of somewhat embarrassed? You say you're a business, but you don't have any income. That's, for me, it's embarrassing because when I go to the bank to make a deposit, or I'm paying a business bill and I use my business Amex, how am I going to pay that? Out of my personal account because the business account's not going to have the money? Yeah, that's embarrassing to me. I don't like that. I don't like that feeling at all. And I'm sure the majority of you don't either. It's a struggle. So I wanted to talk about the imploding of women owned, Black women owned businesses. Now, because I'll be saying Black women probably quite a bit, this is not a podcast just for Black business women, business owners. This is a podcast for Black women business owners and for white women business owners and for Asian women business owners, for all women business owners. That's who this podcast is for. So don't get thrown by the fact that I may use that term, Black owned. That's the reason right there. All right. So I want to start off, say I introduce myself, right? I wanted to start off with an experience that I witnessed a couple of weeks ago. Some of you may be familiar with the shop. It's called the Sister Shop, SISTAH shop. It's somewhat of a I guess, a consignment shop for Black women business owners who have a product-based business. Like I have bath bombs, soaps, all those things. One girl that I met, she does woodwick candles. Some of you have boutiques, and so what they do is they do an application, they get approved, they pack up their stuff, and they ship it to her. And the business owner gets the majority of the money, but of course the store has expenses, so they do get some of the money. Some of them place it down for consignment. Some of them, like they order a certain amount of products, they put them on the shelf. If they sell, you get paid. If they don't sell, you don't get paid. So she's been in business for a few years. I found out about her a couple of years ago, and I wanted to look into it. Well, one of the shops is in New York. I think that's where it first started, either like New York, New Jersey, in that area. And then this woman is in Atlanta, and she started her shop in Atlanta. She's wasn't a business owner. She's a church going woman, is how she describes herself. And she put a lot into her prayers being answered, is what she said. And she that's what she relied on. So she didn't necessarily have the skills of running a business, but she had a shop, a physical shop. I don't remember the district that it's called in Atlanta. There is a name for the area where she is, and it's like a strip or something. And she rents a store from the guy, and rents pretty high. I think she said like $1,000 a month, something like that. Yeah. So she has to, on top of paying the people whose products she has, she also has to pay the rent, the utilities, and what other expenses she runs into. I would imagine shipping would play a large part in that, and she has staff also. So those are things that have to be taken care of. Well, last month she found herself in the predicament of having to close her shop. God, when you talk about closing your business, that's like, oh wow, don't say that. That hurts, doesn't it? You're a business owner, you know how much it hurts. I'm trying to see if there's anyone. Okay, well, it's fine. I had said it probably would be this way, the first episode, but I am recording it so you can catch it at your own, leisure or whatever. But anyway, get back to the lady that owns the sister shop. There are two guys who they have a podcast in Atlanta, and they heard about her having to close up her shop, and she was having to close it that week. This was a Sunday, and her staff was at the shop. She was at church. So the guys on their podcast were like, we can't let this happen. We can't let this go down like this. They felt like there was something that they could do. So they used that time on that podcast. They went live, and they used that time to put together a flash mob for sales at the sister shop. Y'all get out. Come on down to the strip. Come to the sister shop, and y'all buy this place out. Basically, is what he said. So they called the shop, and they were like, "We something we all come in here and do this," and she's not even there. She wasn't there. She was at church, but they called her And she was like, I got to go stop and see my mom. She was taking care of her mom, who was elderly, and she has a son, little boy. And so she said, I had to take care of my mom. She had to give the baby something to eat. And she was just like, I don't know what to do. Please, y'all, please don't leave. Don't leave. And please stay there. Because she just wanted to thank them in person for what they were doing and talk to them. Well, they hung around because they had organized a flash mob. They wanted to talk to the people who came out. They themselves were very surprised because they videoed it and they showed it on YouTube. There were people who came out and they almost emptied every shelf in the store. Some of the guy that owns the podcast, obviously, well, I'm saying obviously, but he has money. His partner has money. One of them, their wife, had enough money to spend about $1,000 in the store, and and the people bought. They did what they could. Like they said, everybody's not going to be able to shop like maybe you can, but do what you can. If you can't do anything more than buy a $20 something, or like if my products were there, a $7 bar. So whatever you can do it. And that's what the people did. And by the time the lady got there, they had whole sections of the store were empty. People had their bags, they were waiting around, and she just she broke down in tears, wouldn't you? It was really something to see, and I'm watching it like in live time as it's happening because the podcast guys had their camera people there with them, and they were showing it on live on YouTube at the time. Okay, so I thought it was obviously I was impressed by that. So I thought, wow, this is really something. Me being the forever pragmatist and forever things that make you go, hmm. And one of those things that has nagged at me since that day, watching that video, and one of the things that is still nagging at me now, why didn't they support her store on the everyday basis while she was open? Why did it take her having to in the position where she had no choice but to close her shop before anyone would do anything to help her or purchase from her? There were days the store was just empty. There weren't people, no customers. She said some days there was no customers, and some weeks she had were really slow weeks, and it had gotten to be that way for a while. Did y'all know the shop was there? Some people did, and others didn't know. So, one, she wasn't doing the advertising that she could have and should have been doing. That was one of the first things that the guys noticed. She wasn't doing the advertising. Second thing is, you have a whole lot of money going out, and that's fine if you have a whole lot of money coming in. But her situation was it had gotten to the point to where she still had a lot of money going out, but she had less and less and less coming in. You still have to pay your $1,000 month rent that month, whether 2 people come in or 200 people come in. You still have to pay the utilities to keep the lights on. You know, you got to pay your workers. They got to eat. So you have all these expenses and they do not change. They don't go down just because you didn't make the sales. What you gonna do? So along with them having the people come that day and buy stuff, so she had the money for her rent for a couple of months and other things. So she did pretty well. What they also did was they offered to set her up with a what would you call a person? Like a business owner or business an expert, I guess. They yeah, a person who actually um has who knows how to help you run a business. They teach you the things you need to know, like a business course. Yeah, so they were putting her up, hooking her up with someone to do that. So that was, I thought, very interesting. And it's like I know I could use some mentoring, teaching, and I other women that I've spoken to could use it too. But it's just like we don't have a store about to go out of business and have a benefactor come along and bail us out. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't notice us. Most of the stores, most of our shops don't get noticed. You have to put it out there and make it noticed. I'm sorry. Give me a minute, please. Okay. Okay. Now to be a business owner there, or I say just to get started, there are three things that you do need. One is self confidence. You have to know who you are in here. You have to know that. And you have to have the confidence that I am enough. I am enough and I can get this done. The other thing is you have to follow through. You have a thought, an idea, you write it on paper and it doesn't go anywhere for a week, a month. Next thing you know, it's 2 months, it's 3 months. You haven't done anything about it. You have to get started. You have to follow through. So once you get that confidence up and you know who you are and what you're about and you know what you want and what you need, then you follow through with that. One more step, finish the job. Finish the job. Don't start and quit. Don't, like I do, start and procrastinate. Start and procrastinate. I had to about browbeat myself to keep myself in control to do the things that I needed done. I had to really keep it together. So those are things that you have to have. All right, so I'm gonna close it out. And in closing it out, I have something I want to leave you like a metaphor, I guess. Life is like a hill. If you are not working, you're falling down. You're on the hill. It's slanted. If you're not working, you're falling down the hill, rolling down the hill, right? So you're falling back where you came from. So either you're climbing to the top or you're falling back down. You have to keep working. You have to keep climbing. You cannot rest. You cannot stop. You must keep going and climbing that hill if you expect to make it and be successful. That's all I got for today. I hope you enjoy it when you watch it. And next week, episode probably not going to be live, but Tuesday night, 7 o'clock is when it will debut. And that's going to be the day it debuts. I'll have other avenues as we go on. I'll have other avenues that you can watch it at different times or whatever. But for right now, this is it. All right, you guys. This is Zimmy signing off. Y'all have a great one.